Hello and welcome to today's vital discussion on one of Earth's most intelligent and majestic creatures, elephants. Despite their critical role in maintaining ecosystems, they're facing extinction largely due to human actions. To help us better understand both the beauty and the plight of these animals, we're joined by two distinguished guests. Dr. Sarah Evans, a wildlife biologist specializing in elephant behavior, and Mr. David Brooks, a conservationist working on the front lines of elephant protection. Thank you both for being here.
Glad to be here.
Thank you for having me.
In this discussion, we'll explore the extraordinary abilities of elephants, the threats they face, and what their disappearance might mean for all of us, humans included. Dr. Evans, let's start with you. Could you share some insights into what makes elephants so remarkable as individuals and as part of their groups?
Absolutely. Elephants have some of the largest brains among land animals, which supports their complex social behaviors and problem-solving abilities. They use tools, recognize themselves in mirrors, and are capable of a level of emotional intelligence that's astonishing. For example, elephants have been observed mourning their dead. In fact, they return to the sites of their family members' deaths years later, showing signs of memory and grief. It's something few other animals exhibit to such a profound extent.
I think what often surprises people is how socially sophisticated elephants are. They live in matriarchal herds, where the oldest female leads the group. The herd supports the youngest and oldest members, and they're incredibly protective. Young elephants are nurtured not just by their mothers but by aunts and older siblings too.
It sounds like they have family structures similar to humans in many ways. What about their communication skills? I've heard they can communicate over vast distances.
That's right. Elephants can produce low-frequency sounds called infrasound that travel for miles, allowing them to communicate with distant herds. They'll use these calls to coordinate movements or warn others of danger. It's an advanced form of communication that's key to their survival, especially in the wild.
And don't forget their ability to solve problems collectively. There have been studies showing elephants working together to move obstacles, share water resources, or even rescue calves stuck in the mud. This sort of cooperation is rare among animals.
It's clear these creatures are more than just animals. They possess intelligence, empathy, and social complexity, yet many people still say it's just an elephant.
Exactly. People often underestimate them because they're not in our everyday lives like pets or livestock. But the more you study them, the more you realize they're deeply intelligent beings who deserve far more respect and protection than we're currently giving them.
Let's move into the dangers elephants face, which are largely caused by humans. Mr. Brooks, can you walk us through the main threats?
Absolutely. The biggest issue right now is habitat loss. As human populations expand, more land is cleared for agriculture and urban development, especially in regions like Southeast Asia and parts of Africa where elephants roam. Elephants need vast areas to migrate and find food, but with less available land, they're increasingly forced into human settlements. This leads to conflicts, as elephants sometimes raid crops or damage property, which can result in violence against them.
And then there's poaching. Despite international bans, poaching for ivory remains a significant issue, especially in Africa. It's driven by illegal markets, often in countries far removed from where these elephants live. It's heartbreaking to see such intelligent animals slaughtered for something as trivial as ornamental ivory.
How effective are the international efforts to stop poaching? Are we seeing improvements?
There has been progress, particularly with enhanced law enforcement and anti-poaching technology like drones. However, demand for ivory persists in parts of the world, and organized crime syndicates are often involved, making it a hard problem to eradicate completely. Local communities need more support to protect elephants, and there has to be more awareness globally.
It's important to recognize the toll this takes on elephant populations. Elephants have long gestation periods, nearly 2 years, and typically give birth to one calf at a time. Their slow reproductive rate means that poaching a single elephant can have long-lasting effects on the population. If we lose too many adult elephants, it could take generations to recover, if they can recover at all.
Beyond poaching and habitat loss, what about climate change? How is it affecting elephants?
That's a great point. Climate change is exacerbating these issues. In many parts of Africa, droughts are becoming more frequent, making it harder for elephants to find water. In places where water is scarce, elephants sometimes migrate into human areas, which leads to more conflict. It's a ripple effect. Our actions on a global scale are making life even harder for them.
This brings us to the broader picture. Dr. Evans, what would the extinction of elephants mean for ecosystems and for us?
Elephants are what we call ecosystem engineers. Their feeding habits, particularly how they knock down trees or dig for water, shape the environment. This benefits many other species. For example, when elephants knock over trees, it creates open areas that allow grasses to grow, which herbivores like zebras and antelopes rely on. Their seed dispersal also helps plant life regenerate, supporting biodiversity.
Right. Without elephants, ecosystems would change dramatically. Forests and savannas might become overgrown or fail to regenerate, and this would impact many species that depend on those environments. In the long run, this could even affect human agriculture, water resources, and the overall health of the environment.
And what about the emotional and cultural significance of elephants? Many communities, especially in Africa and Asia, have lived alongside these animals for centuries. What would losing them mean in those contexts?
That's a crucial point. In many cultures, elephants are symbols of wisdom, strength, and longevity. Their disappearance would not only be a biological loss, but a cultural one. We often talk about the ecological consequences, but there's also an emotional and spiritual impact for communities that have coexisted with elephants for generations.
And it's not just those communities. Globally, we'd feel the loss. Elephants have inspired art, religion, and even modern conservation movements. We often don't realize how much we stand to lose until it's too late.
So the extinction of elephants would be devastating, not just for ecosystems, but for human culture and survival.
Exactly. It's not just an elephant. They're critical to so many facets of life on this planet.
And if we lose them, we're not just losing a species. We're losing the potential to fix many environmental issues elephants help mitigate. It would be a major step backward for conservation.
Thank you both for shedding light on the remarkable lives of elephants and the severe consequences we face if we continue on this path. Their existence is deeply intertwined with the well-being of our planet, and we must recognize the urgency of protecting them. Let's all do what we can to safeguard these incredible creatures before it's too late. Thank you for being with us, and please stay engaged and informed.